Hello, everybody. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
I'm Dr. Kevin Hall, and this is Mr. Sid.
Hi.
So, apologies for the delay, and thank you for being patient for us to start this session. And welcome back again to our Facebook Live session where we'll be delving into the world of ESG and talking about sustainability, and this time about water management. And one aspect of water management will be rainwater harvesting for sustainability efforts in order to ensure that we preserve our natural resources, especially our water bodies, our rivers, maintain that they're clean and we don't put too much strain on them. So one of the ways that we can actually do this is through rainwater harvesting. And that's why we have our special guest today, Mr. Sid, who is a very accomplished man who has founded the company Green Master Harvest, and they have pioneered a model of rainwater harvesting tanks that does not utilize pumps and uses gravitational forces for diverting water from place to place. And so, without further ado, Mr. Sid, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So, Mr. Sid, tell us something about yourself and about how you started in rainwater harvesting.
Okay. I'm a practicing architect, so I think 10 years ago, our government has come with a guideline. Actually, it's a requirement to impose a rainwater harvesting system for like semi-Ds, bungalows, and standalone buildings. So I was practicing back then, and when I submitted my plans to the council, it got rejected. And the comment came back stating that I needed a rainwater harvesting system.
Okay.
And after that, I went back to my client, and of course, I got scolded by my client, asking why didn't I know this system that's required. And I told him that it's a new system, it's a new requirement. So after that, my client told me to design a system. So after that, I went back home and I did some research, and I found out that all the systems that we have now, 10 years ago, are either from Australia or they are from UK. So it's very different because the rainfall in UK and Australia is not rampant like ours. So they need a very big system. And their system was always on the ground or underground. So when the water tank is on the ground, no, not on the roof. Because the rainwater system has to be below the gutter.
Okay.
Which is we collect rainwater from the roof. So when you have the water tank on the ground or underground, you need a pump to pump it up for utilization, like such as the WC, plant watering. Hence, once you need a pump, you're actually using electricity to save rainwater, which is pretty dumb.
Yeah. So you're saving money on water, which is cheap, but you're spending money on the electricity for the pumps.
And for the carbon footprint, the pump actually produces certain amount of carbon footprint. So while saving water, you are contributing for more carbon footprint.
More carbon emissions by using electricity.
Yes, electricity. Because our country, we are dominantly still using coal for electricity. So so I was driving one day, and I saw an aircon compressor on the wall, and I was thinking to myself, why can't that be a tank? And hence it will be. So when it's wall mounted, you can actually use gravity to utilize the water, and that kind of eliminates pump. So which is why our flagship product is always wall mounted and zero carbon, fully gravitational.
Okay. Are there any stipulations in Malaysia? So you mentioned Australia has its a stipulation that the rainwater harvesting system cannot be on the roof. How about Malaysia? Can it be on the roof?
It can be on the roof, but when you harvest rainwater, you actually harvest it from the roof, right? And the rain falls down to the gutter.
But it goes to the gutter, right?
To the gutter. So and it goes down to the drain through the rainwater downpipe. So the rainwater system has got to be below the gutter.
Okay.
Yeah, so it cannot be above the gutter, and the gutter is always below at the lowest point of the roof. So hence you can't actually put it on the roof.
So you can't.
You can't.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So good to know that. So that was the source of your ideation for gravity-based rainwater harvesting system. Do you know anyone in the world who has done gravity-based rainwater harvesting systems like prior to this?
I mean, there were inventions that were in UK, but because the rainfall in UK is so scarce, So it's actually not that effective, unlike here.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So thank you so much for the information about rainwater harvesting in particular. But let me first ask you, what led you to create Green Master Harvest? I mean, how did the idea of the gravity-based rainwater harvesting, how did it pop up? Like,
Like I mentioned just now, like the pump was always the biggest culprit on rainwater harvesting system, because for developers, if you have like back then 10 years ago, if you have like 200 units of houses, and suddenly the government came and imposed a law that requires you to have a rainwater system in every house. So there's an increment in cost without prior budgeting. So the cost was one of the most important thing to solve in this. So when you use a pump, imagine a pump costs around 1,000.
okay.
So if you have 200 houses, imagine it's like 200,000 extra for a developer. And at that time, this will be like plucked from their profits. So yeah, I'm not telling you that I'm like so eco that I wanted to eliminate the pump for like carbon emission or anything.
It's for
Yeah,
monetary purposes.
so it's at first it was for monetary purposes.
Yes.
Hence, the main goal for the product was to eliminate the pump.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
the only
makes
way to do
sense.
that is to
Yeah.
warm out a tank, and which is inspired by aqua compressors.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, are there any limitations to the uses of the water obtained from your rainwater harvesting systems?
Of course, rainwater is actually, a lot of people think that rainwater is very acidic, but it's not. Even coffee is more acidic. Yeah. But the dangerous thing about rainwater is the E. coli.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
E. coli causes diarrhea, and it might even kill someone if you're not careful about it.
E. coli.
Yeah. So it's utilized for landscape irrigation and toilet flushes. And I would like to point out the most effective ways to utilize rainwater system to decrease the utilization of water is toilet flushes.
Toilet flushing.
Yeah,
Okay.
because the fact is one flush uses 5 to 7 liters, and not a lot of people know this.
So, how much water in a day in a typical office do they use for toilet flushing?
Okay, let's say you have 10%, 5 times a day, 50 times 7, it's around like 300 liters. So that's quite a lot only on flushing alone. And currently, Malaysia, we are flushing overqualified water. Why do I say this? Say this is because we are flushing away drinking water, treated potable drinking water, which is such a waste.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think if you can solve, all the toilets in Malaysia with by using rainwater harvesting systems, we are contributing a lot to water savings. Yeah.
So mainly the rainwater harvesting water, right from the get-go, the water collected from the systems can be used for flushing or landscaping, for watering plants, for
crops, irrigation mainly.
irrigation, right?
But recently, because of the rampant ESG adoption, a lot of big factories has come to us, and we have catered, we have like covered solutions for like water boilers, chillers, and quite a few other industrial usages. So yeah.
Does the water need to be treated first to be used in boilers and chillers?
Of course, every industry they have their own purification. They have their own required pH level, and they have their own required purity. So they will have to let us know. Yeah. And of course, when it comes to like water purity, we are working with i-Chem.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
that's just why we are like partners.
Yep. Okay. So coming back to the topic of E. coli, how about different kinds of bacteria or germs like salmonella, or is it only E. coli that you have troubles with, and how do you deal with E. coli, or are there any other bacterium that we need to be worried about?
Okay, so now we are actually moving to the like water purification, right? Okay, to purify rainwater into drinking water, it's actually pretty simple. You need like a few steps. Of course, the first is, because what we do is we purify the sediments, rocks and sediments and leaves and something similar to that. And the next step is to purify the first 10% of the rainfall. because before rain falls, the roof is always very dirty with bird shits
That's
and
right. That's
dust.
right. Yeah.
So we have a filtration system called first flush.
Mhm.
That's our second filtration. Our first filtration will be our water tea filter, and that purifies the sediments and rocks and leaves. So with these two, the water is pretty clean,
Okay.
but you still have like bacteria and all.
Is it two systems in one?
Yeah, that's two. We have two: the water tea filter and the first flush. It's two different components.
Two different components. But they are installed independently?
Independently.
Okay.
Yeah, but we actually design it together with our system, so it's like it's a holistic system.
Okay.
Yep. So with this two, you really like filtered the sediments, the rocks, the leaves, and the first 10%, which is the bird shit and dust. And now you're left with bacteria and all. So there are two ways to do it. The first one is to boil it.
Boil it?
Yeah,
Okay.
and that is pretty like high cost lah, because you need gas, you need electricity.
Okay.
And the second one is pretty energy saving. That's some UV light.
UV light.
You run the water through UV light.
All right.
Yeah, and that's one of the solutions. And after that, you can drink it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But the thing is, our rainwater, if you compare it to our municipal water, our city water, if you can filter rainwater and drink it, it'll be way cleaner than our city water. Why? Because our city water, as you know, our pipes are always leaking, right? And when it's leak underground, you are exposed to all these chemicals, and you get fluoride in your water.
Fluoride.
Yeah, even now, and of course, there's chlorine. That's how our government. I think we're going to get in trouble for this, right? And chlorine, because our government filtrates water by mixing chlorine in it, and there's fluoride in it. So these two chemicals, if you have the time to do some research, it's actually not very good for the health.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I've heard that some counties and some states, they actually add not in Malaysia but globally, they add fluoride into the water to prevent cavities, telling people it's for their dental health.
Yeah.
But I think this claim is rather dubious because fluoride isn't something that's really necessary. I mean, you can have fluoride-free toothpaste and it's fine, perfectly fine. So,
I mean, toothpaste you don't actually consume like a big amount of it, but when it's in water, I mean, 70% of our body is filled with water.
Yeah.
And fluoride there are studies in overseas, that has found that fluoride actually causes cancer.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, how true is it? I'm not sure.
Does Malaysia put a fluoride in?
Yes.
It does.
Yes.
Okay, Malaysia does, huh?
And the amount of it, we actually don't know.
Yeah.
The
I've
amount of
I've
chlorine.
heard fluoride is also pretty difficult to filter out from water.
It's the most difficult to filter from water, which is why I say if you can filter rainwater into potable level of purity, it's safer to drink than our city water.
One question: how about the issue of, especially laymen, we look at rain, and when we think about how about acid rain? Is the rain in cities, especially metropolitan areas, acidic rain? Is it good for you? Can you just use the rainwater harvested in cities as is because is it very acidic?
I mean, I'm not really worried about the acidity in rainwater. I mean, if you drink Coke, Coke's level of acidity is way higher than rainwater. So take that into perspective. And coffee as well. Coffee is way higher than rainwater.
Okay.
Yeah. So no matter how acid the rainwater is.
So this so-called acid rain in city areas that is the case, I suppose, is not an issue.
It's not an issue.
Okay.
I mean, i-Chem has like solutions to purify the pH.
Of course. Yes.
So that will be part of our components to purify it to potable water.
Fantastic. Okay.
Yeah, we're actually cross-promoting, right?
Yep. Okay. So later on, we'll tell you about what we're offering at i-Chem. But first, we'll move on to the next question. In terms of ROI, how would you assess the cost effectiveness of rainwater harvesting?
Okay, because water in Malaysia is so darn cheap.
It is, yes.
And,
subsidies for water.
Yeah, and usually people that come to us for like solutions for rainwater harvesting, we tell them the ROI is not attractive.
Okay.
But it's more for like like you want to go green. You have a green heart. You want to play a role. In the climate change. So to answer your question, the ROI will be around 8 to 10 years.
8 to 10 years.
Yeah.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, that's not too
I mean, I think about 5 to 10 years ago, solar panels were at that level.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before the technology improved. And I think if they remove the water subsidies in Malaysia, like the trend is now, subsidies are slowly being tapered off in our country. So in the future, if water subsidies are removed, do you think it will be much more cost effective?
Of course, I mean we Malaysians, we always take
for
our
granted.
water for granted,
Yeah,
because it's so damn cheap.
Yeah.
And
If you go to Singapore, the water is so damn expensive, you know. I had a story, you know, my wife's friend, they were taking a shower in their friend's apartment in Singapore, and the mother of the friend actually said, "Don't use so much water. It's expensive here in Singapore." Just to tell us, the Malaysians, we take for granted.
yeah, we do
the
take for
cost
granted.
of our cheap water. Yeah.
I mean water. I mean, water. The importance of water is the sentiments of water is always regional. It's always it's always differs from countries to countries. Like I mean, take for example in Dubai, like they don't have water, so water is freaking expensive over there. And for desert countries, like water is actually like gold. And now we are taking for granted, but people in Malaysia don't realize the water scarcity that's happening around the world. We might be fine now, but 10 years later or 15 years later, we might not know.
Yeah, and it's very important, not just for the ROI, for the monetary return that we install these rainwater harvesting systems. I think it's just a sense of self-sufficiency, to be able to be self-sufficient in your office space, get water from your rooftops, and we don't need to rely on the grid for electricity. We don't need to rely on the municipal water systems for water. It's that sense of self-sufficiency that gives us satisfaction, I think.
I mean, you still see water cuts happening every year.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So if you have water issues in your area, like recently, I think we've had water cuts in some areas in Selangor, KL, right? Yeah, we can actually bypass these issues with rainwater harvesting.
Yeah, it's very true. Like it goes back to WC flushes. One flush is 7 liters. Imagine this: one person drink like 2 liters a day. And a person bathes with like 3-4 liters a day, and one flush is that's something to think about.
Yeah.
And the solution is actually so simple. Save your flushes.
Save your flushes. So rainwater harvesting for water flushing, save water, save the environment.
Yeah.
Talking about expensive water overseas, have you had any plans, or are you already exporting your products overseas?
I mean, this our product, which is our flagship product, which is called WADA, Rainwater Mounted Rainwater Harvesting System, was catered for our region because Malaysia's rain the tank will always be like filled up constantly. And in overseas we can't actually do that.
Like you can't do that in Dubai.
Yeah, in Dubai. So it's like our product is actually very regional.
I see. Okay, all right. Well, it's good to be that it's tailored to our needs, because that's your primary market for now. Can you share some success stories or case studies where your rainwater harvesting systems have made a significant impact?
We actually donated this complete rainwater harvesting system to this school in Dindings, Perak. So it's basically in Setiawan. And they actually reduced their water usage into 50%.
Wow.
Yeah, so their headmaster was very happy.
That's pretty
invited me to the hall, and like gave us thanks and everything.
Wow.
So it's been 10 years now. So I think they saved like large amount of water.
They definitely made back their money.
I'm sure.
ROI is 8 years, right?
I'm sure. And it was a donation by us.
So, right. Yes,
with Lions Club, so it was a joint venture donation. So I think they are enjoying the benefits now.
Were they using a lot of water?
I think they were.
They were.
Yeah, they were. Okay. Because we kind of like adapted all their WCs into like rainwater housing systems. So now all their flushes are using like rainwater.
Okay, all right. And okay, so moving on to the next question. What advice would you give to entrepreneurs and businesses looking to integrate ESG principles or rainwater harvesting into their operations?
I mean, these days, because like Bursa is setting strict laws into like adoption, ESG adoptions and things like that. I think this might be the future, for like the next big thing,
Yep.
because carbon credits is the next big thing now,
Mhm.
and Bursa is launching BXC next month,
Yeah.
which is a carbon credits trading platform.
Bursa Carbon
Yeah,
Exchange.
Bursa
Yeah.
Carbon Exchange. So I mean, for startups, if you want to start a business in ESG related, I think this is the time.
Are there any carbon credit projects that are related to rainwater harvesting specifically?
Not directly, but the thing about like how can rainwater gain carbon credits?
Mhm.
That's a question, right?
Mhm.
So okay, when you harvest rainwater, you're using lesser city water,
Mhm.
which
Right.
means that the government uses lesser electricity
Mhm.
to distribute the water to us.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so the pump system and the distribution system uses a lot of electricity.
Hmm.
So if we
I didn't
can
know
we
that.
can reduce that, we're actually reducing carbon emission,
Mhm.
and from that there's a calculation,
I think
to
from IS
yeah.
Selangor's side, they actually give like an emissions coefficient. You can, if how much cubic meters of water you use from the municipal water system, you times it by the emission coefficient, and then you get your how many metric tons of carbon dioxide have been produced because of that.
Yeah, you are the expert on that.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So
you should know.
actually, rainwater harvesting systems are very good for ESG initiatives. They reflect very well on your ESG reports. Investors like to see that. Bankers like to see that. Other stakeholders, like your customers, would appreciate that as well.
I mean, it's now, 10 years ago when we launched our system, people were laughing at us. It's like,
Really?
why? Yeah. I mean, oh, Malaysia has so much rain, why do you still need to collect rain and blah, 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 blah.
Like you could just use a bucket.
Yeah, I can use this as a bucket, why do you need to collect rain? Water is so cheap, blah, 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 blah. You got all this ignorant people. And 10 years after, I think the realization has been
Yeah.
more yeah, people started realizing that, wow, yeah, water is important.
It is. It
Yeah.
is very important.
And there's money to be made with it too.
There is money to be made. Speaking of money to be made, how can interested companies get started with your services so they can save money?
Just call us or call i-Chem.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think Dr. Kevin will leave our website over there, and all our information is there.
All the information about Green Master Harvest and their products, Voda, and as well as i-Chem's links will be down below. So I'd just like to tell everyone in the audience a free one-to-one consultation for rainwater harvesting and for ESG services with i-Chem solution is available to all viewers today. Just click on the link below. And also, I like to share our new product, our simplified ESG report. For only 2,000 ringgit, you don't need to pay 500,000 ringgit to the Big Four, or you don't need to pay 50 to 100,000 ringgit for other auditing companies to prepare your ESG report. Just give us 2,000 ringgit and we'll prepare a simplified ESG report. We call it the Simplified ESG Pre-Assessment Report. And for a fraction of the cost, 2,000 ringgit, we'll produce a 10-page to 15-page ESG report for you. We cut out all the fluff and we just present to you the ESG data and where you stand in terms of ESG performance and how you can improve. So call us today for your simplified ESG report for only 2,000 ringgit. And also, we are giving discounts for all viewers today for our ESG services and packages. We provide here at i-Chem Solution all ESG services relating to relating to ESG, and except for carbon credit projects, which we only provide the consultancy for. But even that, you can come to us. So I think with that, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining, and thank you very much, Mr. Sid, for joining
Thank you very
us
much.
today. So thank you, and bye bye.
Bye bye.